7 minutes. That's how long it took for my entire family to become suspects in a murder investigation. But let me rewind. Because the story you're about to hear, it doesn't start with police weapons and handcuffs. It starts with a husband who thought he was doing something romantic. My name is Tom Crawford, 52 years old, construction company owner in Charlotte, North Carolina, married to Linda for 26 years. And 3 weeks ago, I had what I thought was a great idea. Linda had flown to Austin to visit our son Brett and his wife Vanessa. They'd just finished renovating their first house, one of those cookie-cutter developments outside the city. Young couples everywhere, white picket fences, the whole American dream package. She was supposed to stay a week, help with decorating, spend time with the kids. But by day 4, something shifted. Her texts got shorter, colder. When I called, she'd answer but sound distant, like she was reading from a script. "Everything's fine, honey, just exhausted from unpacking boxes." Then she'd hang up fast, always an excuse. Day 6, she didn't call at all. I tried Brett's phone, straight to voicemail. Vanessa's too. Radio silence from everyone. That night, lying alone in our bed, I couldn't shake this feeling in my gut. You know that feeling? When something's wrong, but you can't name it? Subscribe now, because what I found in Austin will make you question everyone you trust. So, I did what any worried father would do. Booked a red-eye to Texas, didn't tell anyone. I wanted to surprise them, show up with flowers, take everyone to dinner, fix whatever tension was brewing. The Uber from Austin Airport took 40 minutes. Brett and Vanessa's neighborhood looked perfect. Too perfect. Identical houses, manicured lawns, the kind of place where nothing bad ever happens. It was 2:47 p.m. when we pulled onto Pinewood Drive. Hot Texas sun beating down, Brett's truck in the driveway, Linda's rental car beside it. Good. Everyone home. I was 10 feet from the front door when I heard someone running behind me. "Wait!" A woman's voice, desperate, breathless. "Wait, please, I have something to tell you." I turned around. She was maybe 45. Blonde, yoga pants and an oversized hoodie in 90-degree heat. Her face was flushed red, eyes wild with something that looked like terror. "Are you Tom?" she gasped, grabbing my arm hard. "Brett's father?" "Yeah. Who are you?" "Claire Hendricks, next door." She glanced nervously at Brett's house. Her grip tightened. "You can't go in there. Not yet. Not without knowing." My stomach dropped like an elevator with cut cables. "Knowing what? Is Linda okay? Is Brett—" "Your wife is alive. Physically. But, Tom, there's something happening in that house. Something that's been going on for 3 weeks. Something terrible." The world tilted. "What are you talking about?" Claire pulled me toward the sidewalk, away from the house, away from whatever horror waited inside. When she spoke again, her voice barely rose above a whisper. 4 days after Linda arrived, I was in my backyard. I heard screaming, loud screaming, your son and Vanessa tearing each other apart. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught pieces. Vanessa yelling about finally having proof, and Brett shouting back that she was destroying everything. I felt cold despite the heat. Married people fight. That doesn't... That same night, Claire cut me off. Around midnight, I saw Vanessa leave with 2 big suitcases. She got in her car and drove away. Didn't come back for 3 days. Where'd she go? No idea. But when she came back, Linda's rental car was gone. My blood turned to ice water. What do you mean, gone? Vanished 6 days ago. Haven't seen it since. But you said Linda's still... I've seen her through the windows, twice, moving around inside. Tom, she looked scared. Only subscribers see how this ends. Don't get left behind. Where's my wife's car? I demanded. I don't know. It disappeared and never came back. My mind raced. Linda's weird texts, the cold phone calls, Brett ignoring me. Have you seen Linda since the car vanished? Claire hesitated. Twice, both times through windows. And Tom, she didn't look right. She looked trapped. That's when I pulled out my phone. Dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? My name is Tom Crawford. I'm at 2847 Pinewood Drive in Austin. My wife came to visit our son 3 weeks ago. A neighbor witnessed suspicious behavior. My wife's rental car has disappeared. I think she might be in danger. I need police here now. The operator's tone shifted instantly from bored to alert. Sir, stay on the line. Dispatching units now. Do not enter the residence. Repeat, do not go inside. Do you understand? How long? 7 minutes. 7 minutes. They felt like 7 hours. Claire stood beside me on that sidewalk, both of us staring at that house like it might explode any second. I tried calling Linda. 4 rings. Voicemail. What if he hurt her? I said out loud. Not really to Claire, just to the universe. What if my son did something to his own mother? Or what if Vanessa did? The fighting I heard, Brett sounded defensive, like someone was accusing him of something horrible. A new nightmare crept into my brain. Accusing him of what? I don't know, but whatever it is, it destroyed their marriage in less than a week. At minute 5, I saw movement behind the front window's curtain. Someone watching us. The curtain dropped back. They know we're out here, Claire whispered. At minute 6, my phone buzzed. Text from Linda. Tom, is that you outside? What are you doing here? My hands shook, typing back. Are you okay? Are you safe? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, please, don't come in. Not yet. It's complicated. Complicated how? What's happening? 30 seconds passed. Then, I found something. Something about Brett. Something terrible. Vanessa knows too. We've been trying to figure out what to do. My heart stopped. What did you find? Nothing. Linda, what did you find? Nothing.
If you're not subscribing yet, drop a comment. What's holding you back? At minute 7, 2 police cruisers turned onto Pinewood Drive. Lights flashing. No sirens. 4 officers stepped out. 1 approached me immediately. Tom Crawford? Yes. My wife Linda's inside. She's with our son Brett and his wife Vanessa. Something's very wrong. She just texted saying she found something terrible about Brett. The officer's face hardened. And there's a report of suspicious activity in the backyard. I saw it myself, Claire confirmed. Her voice shook. Yesterday morning, early, Vanessa was out there with a shovel, digging a big hole near the fence. 2 officers headed around back. The other 2 approached the front door with the lead officer. He knocked. Firm. Professional. Austin PD, we need someone to open this door. Silence. He knocked again. Harder. This is Austin Police Department. Open the door or we will be forced to enter. Finally, the door cracked open 6 inches. Vanessa appeared in the gap. Her face was ghost white, eyes bloodshot like she'd cried for a week straight, dark hair pulled back in a messy knot. She looked like she hadn't slept since Linda arrived. "Officers," she said, voice trembling. "Thank God you're here." The officer's face hardened. "Ma'am, we're responding to a welfare check. Is Linda Crawford inside?" "Yes." "And Brett Crawford?" Vanessa's face crumpled like wet paper. "Yes, he's upstairs, in the bedroom. He won't come out. He's been up there for 2 days." "Is anyone injured or in immediate danger?" "No one's hurt, but officers—" Her voice broke completely. Tears streamed down her face. "My husband isn't who I thought he was. He isn't who anyone thought he was." "Ma'am, I need you to step outside. Are there weapons in the house?" "No weapons, but you need to see what's in the backyard. You need to see what I found." "Ma'am, outside, now." Vanessa stepped onto the porch. That's when I saw Linda. She emerged from somewhere deep in the house, moving toward the door like she was walking through water. My wife looked 10 years older than 3 weeks ago. Her face was hollow, eyes red and swollen like she'd cried for a week straight. Dark hair pulled back in a messy knot. She looked like she hadn't slept since Linda arrived. "When you saw me, Tommy," she sobbed. It was the most broken sound I'd ever heard from her. I started forward, but an officer threw up his hand. "Sir, stay back until we clear the scene." "Linda, what's going on?" I shouted. She opened her mouth to answer, but Vanessa spoke first. Turned to the officers with wild, desperate eyes. "There are files on his computer, videos, pictures, evidence." Her voice rose to almost a scream. "Brett isn't a software engineer like he told everyone. He's been running fraud operations online, stealing from people, hundreds of victims, maybe thousands. The money, this house, everything we have came from destroying other people's lives." My knees nearly buckled. "And 3 weeks ago," Vanessa continued, voice cracking, "one of his victims found us, found our address. They've been threatening to kill us if Brett doesn't return everything. That's what I buried in the backyard. Cash, almost $200,000 that I'm hiding from him because I'm trying to fix this, trying to return it to the people he stole from. But he's upstairs right now, probably erasing everything." "And that's not true!" Brett's voice boomed from inside. Suddenly, he was there, top of the staircase, visible through the open door. My son. 6'2", athletic, the boy I taught to ride a bike, whose college I paid for, who I walked down the aisle at his wedding. He looked like a stranger. "The money isn't from fraud, Vanessa." His voice was eerily calm. "It's from you." Vanessa froze. "Tell them the truth," Brett said. His voice cracked. "Tell them about your real name. Tell them about the insurance fraud. Tell them about Phoenix." Vanessa's face went bone white. And that's when the officers who'd gone around back came running to the front. One of them spoke urgently into his radio. "We need detectives here immediately. We've got a grave in the backyard, recently filled. We need cadaver dogs and forensics, now." The lead officer drew his weapon, pointed it at both Brett and Vanessa. "Everyone on the ground. Hands where I can see them." Linda screamed. Vanessa collapsed to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Brett slowly descended the stairs, hands raised, face devastated. And I stood there, on that sidewalk, Texas sun burning overhead, realizing that nothing, absolutely nothing, about the last 24 years had been real. What they found in that grave will destroy everything you think you know. Subscribe before the next reveal. The grave wasn't empty. And the question wasn't who put someone in it. The question was, who was buried there? And why did both my son and his wife look equally terrified of the answer? Comment below. Would you have called the police? Or would you have gone inside alone?
The next 30 seconds happened in slow motion. Brett reached the bottom of the stairs, hands still raised, his eyes locked on mine through the open doorway, and in that moment, I saw something I'd never seen in my son's face before. Pure, raw terror. Not the kind you fake, the kind that reaches into your soul and squeezes. "Dad," he said quietly, "I'm so sorry you're seeing this." The lead officer moved forward, hand on his weapon. "Sir, on your knees, now." Brett complied. Dropped to his knees right there in the entryway. Vanessa was already on the porch, hands behind her head, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. And Linda, my Linda, stood frozen in the doorway between them, like she couldn't decide which side she was on. Subscribe now, because the neighbors saw something else, something she didn't tell the police. "Clear the residence," the lead officer barked into his radio. "We've got 3 civilians, possible homicide scene in the backyard. Need backup and crime scene unit." 2 more officers pushed past Linda into the house. I heard them shouting, "Clear," as they moved room to room. Claire grabbed my arm. Her fingers dug in like claws. "Tom, there's more," she whispered. "Something I didn't tell them yet." I turned to her. "What?" 2 nights ago, around 3 a.m., I couldn't sleep, came downstairs for water. I looked out my kitchen window. And? I saw someone in their backyard, with a flashlight, moving toward that back fence where Vanessa was digging. My blood ran cold. "Who?" I couldn't tell. Too dark, but Tom. Her voice dropped even lower. "They were dragging something heavy. It took 2 of them." 2? Who was the second person? Claire's eyes filled with tears. I don't know, but one of them was tall, built like a man. The other was shorter, could have been a woman. The implications crashed over me like a wave. Brett and Vanessa, working together, despite the accusations flying between them now. Or Brett and Linda. Or Vanessa and Linda. Only subscribers get the full truth. Don't miss what happens next. "Why didn't you tell the police?" I asked. "Because I wasn't sure what I saw. And Claire's voice broke. "I didn't want to believe it. They're such a nice couple. Vanessa waves every morning. Brett helped me fix my fence last month. How could they—" "House is clear," one of the officers shouted from inside. "No other occupants, no visible weapons." The lead officer turned to Brett. "Sir, I need you to stand up slowly and step outside." Brett rose to his feet, moved onto the porch like a man walking to his execution. Now all 3 of them stood there. Brett, Vanessa, Linda. My entire family. The officer addressed them as a group. "I need all of you to understand something. We have a potential crime scene in your backyard. Until we determine what's in that grave, nobody leaves, nobody goes back inside, and everyone answers questions. Understood?" They all nodded. Except Linda. She just stared at me, eyes pleading, trying to communicate something she couldn't say out loud. If you're still not subscribing, comment why. What's holding you back? "Mrs. Crawford," the officer said to Linda, "you're the mother and mother-in-law here, correct?" "Yes." "And when did you arrive in Austin?" 3 weeks ago, October 28th. "And in those 3 weeks, did you witness anything unusual? Any arguments? Any suspicious behavior?" Linda's mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. She looked at Brett, then Vanessa, then back at me. "I need to talk to my husband first. Ma'am, this is a potential homicide investigation. You don't get to consult with anyone. You answer my questions now." Linda's face crumbled. Fresh tears streamed down. 4 days after I arrived," she said quietly, "I found something on Brett's computer." Brett's eyes went wide. "Mom, don't—" "Quiet," the officer snapped at him. Then back to Linda. "What did you find?" "Files, spreadsheets, names, bank account numbers, hundreds of them." My heart felt like it was being crushed in a vice. "And what did you do when you found this?" the officer asked. I confronted Brett, asked him what it was. He said it was work stuff, legitimate business. But I'm not stupid. I've been married to a businessman for 26 years. I know what fraud looks like. So you knew your son was stealing from people? I suspected. I wasn't sure. But you didn't call the police. Linda's voice dropped to barely a whisper. He's my son. Subscribe so you don't miss the moment everything changes. The officer turned to Vanessa. And you? When did you find out? Vanessa wiped her eyes with shaking hands. Same day Linda did. She showed me. We both confronted Brett together. He admitted everything, said he'd been doing it for 5 years, said it started small but spiraled, said he was trying to stop but couldn't. Why couldn't he stop? Because someone found out, someone he stole from. They tracked him down, started threatening us. Who? His name was Kyle Brennan from Phoenix. Brett stole his entire retirement account, $280,000. Kyle lost everything. His house, his marriage, his kids won't talk to him anymore. Was. Past tense. The officer caught it too. You said was? Kyle Brennan is dead? Vanessa nodded, sobbing harder. And is Kyle Brennan in your backyard? Silence. Long, horrible silence. Then Brett spoke. His voice was hollow, empty. Yes. The word hung in the air like a guillotine blade. I felt my legs go weak. Claire caught my arm, kept me upright. Dad, Brett said, looking straight at me, tears streaming down his face. I didn't mean to. I swear to God I didn't mean to. Don't say another word, the officer commanded. But Brett kept talking, like a dam had burst. He showed up 3 weeks ago, day after Mom arrived, pounded on the door at 2 a.m., had a gun, said he was going to kill all of us if I didn't give him back everything plus interest, said he'd already lost everything that mattered so he had nothing left to lose. I said, stop talking, the officer barked. But Brett couldn't stop. The words poured out like blood from a wound. I tried to calm him down, told him I'd give him everything, but he didn't believe me. He pushed his way inside. Vanessa screamed. Mom came running downstairs. He pointed the gun at Mom, and I just reacted. I grabbed the lamp from the side table and swung, hit him in the head. He went down hard.
What happens next will make you question everything. Subscribe now. We thought he was just unconscious, Vanessa added, her voice mechanical, like she'd rehearsed this. We were going to tie him up, call the police, say he broke in. But when we checked on him an hour later, he was dead, Brett finished. Skull fracture. He was just gone. The officer's face was stone. And instead of calling the police then, reporting a clear case of self-defense, you buried him in your backyard. We panicked, Linda said. Her voice was small, ashamed. I told them to call 911. I begged them. But Brett said if police came, they'd find the computer files. They'd arrest him for fraud. He'd go to prison for years, and Vanessa was pregnant. My world stopped spinning. Pregnant? I whispered. Linda nodded. 8 weeks. They just found out. My grandchild, Tom. I couldn't let my grandchild be born with their father in prison. I couldn't. So you helped them bury a body, the officer said flatly. I made them bury him. It was my idea. I told them where to dig. I helped move him. I'm the one who said we'd all keep the secret. I'm the one who... Mom, stop, Brett shouted. But it was too late. 2 more police cruisers pulled up, then an unmarked car. Detectives. A tall woman in her 50s stepped out, badge on her hip. She surveyed the scene with sharp eyes that missed nothing. I'm Detective Kimberly Torres, she said. Someone want to tell me what we've got? The lead officer briefed her quickly. As he talked, her expression grew darker. When he finished, she looked at all 3 of them. Brett, Vanessa, Linda. Here's what's going to happen, Detective Torres said. We're going to excavate that backyard. If there's a body, We'll identify it. We'll determine cause of death, and then we'll determine who's getting charged with what. Until then, all three of you are being detained for questioning. Are we under arrest? Vanessa asked. Not yet, but you're not free to leave either. Subscribe before the next twist hits, because it gets worse. Detective Torres turned to me. You're the father? Yes. Tom Crawford. When did you arrive in Austin? About 30 minutes ago. I came because I was worried about my wife. She'd been acting strange on the phone. Had you spoken to your son before today? Not for a week. He wasn't returning my calls. Torres studied my face. Did you know anything about the fraud, about Kyle Brennan, about any of this? Nothing, I swear. I had no idea until 5 minutes ago. She nodded slowly, like she was deciding whether to believe me. That's when Claire stepped forward. Detective, I'm the neighbor. I'm the one who called this in, but there's something else. Torres turned to her. Go on. 2 nights ago, around 3 a.m., I saw 2 people in their backyard moving something heavy toward the back fence where the grave is. Can you identify who they were? It was too dark, but one was tall, male build, one was shorter. Torres looked back at Brett, Vanessa, and Linda. So, someone moved the body recently, after it had already been buried. None of them spoke. Why would you move a body you had already buried? More silence. Then Vanessa spoke. Her voice was barely audible. Because there's more than one. The world tilted sideways. Detective Torres went very still. Excuse me? There's more than one body, Vanessa repeated. She looked at Brett, then at Linda, then back at Torres. 3 bodies, in your backyard, and you're just now mentioning this. 2 we buried, Brett said, dead, emotionless. 1 was there when we bought the house. Torres stared at him. You bought a house with a body in your backyard. We didn't know at first, not until we started the renovation. We were putting in a new fence line and hit something. We thought it was just, I don't know, an animal or something. But when we dug deeper, you found human remains. Torres finished. Brett nodded. And instead of reporting it, you just covered it back up. We'd already closed on the house, Vanessa said desperately. We'd put every dollar we had into it. If we reported finding a body, the house would become a crime scene. We'd lose everything. The bank would foreclose. We'd be ruined. So you left a murder victim buried in your yard. We didn't know it was murder. Could have been someone who died naturally years ago. And the third body? Torres cut her off. Who's the third victim? The question hung there. Nobody answered. Torres looked at each of them in turn. Someone better start talking, now. Linda opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. His name was Owen, she finally said. Owen Garrett, from Dallas. Another fraud victim? Yes, he showed up 6 days ago, also with a gun, also threatening to kill us all. My vision blurred. This couldn't be real. And what happened to Owen Garrett? Torres asked. Linda looked at me, eyes pleading forgiveness. I shot him. Subscribe now, because my wife just confessed to murder, and I'm about to find out she's been lying about everything. Comment: if your wife confessed to killing someone to protect your child, could you ever forgive her? I shot him. 3 words. 3 words that turned my wife of 26 years into a stranger. You what? The words tore out of my throat. Linda wouldn't look at me, just stared at the ground, tears dripping onto the porch. Detective Torres moved fast, pulled Linda's hands behind her back, cuffed her. Linda Crawford, you're under arrest for the murder of Owen Garrett. You have the right to remain silent. It was self-defense, Brett shouted. Tell them, Mom. Tell them how it happened. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. He was going to kill all of us, Vanessa screamed. He had the gun pointed at me, at my baby. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, listen to me. Brett was hysterical now. My mother saved our lives. Owen was insane. He'd already killed someone else before he came here. Torres finished reading the Miranda rights, then turned to Brett. Her voice was steel. If Owen Garrett had already killed someone, why didn't you call the police when he showed up? Silence. Because they couldn't. Because calling police meant exposing everything. Subscribe before this gets darker, because it gets so much darker. Detective, I said, my voice shaking. Can I talk to my wife? Please, just for a minute. Torres looked at me, hard, evaluating. 2 minutes right here where I can see you. You try anything, you're going in cuffs too. She guided Linda toward me. My wife, handcuffed, stood 3 feet away, close enough to touch, but feeling like miles. Linda, I whispered, what did you do? I protected our family. Her voice was hollow, empty. Isn't that what mothers do? By killing someone? By doing what had to be done. Now she looked at me, really looked at me. Tom, if you'd been here, you'd have done the same thing. You'd have pulled that trigger. You don't know that. Yes, I do, because I know you. I've known you for 26 years, and I know you would die before letting someone hurt our son. She was right. God help me, she was right. How did it happen? I asked. Linda's eyes drifted past me, seeing something I couldn't, reliving it. It was 2 a.m., 6 days ago. Vanessa and I were in the kitchen, couldn't sleep. We were talking about what to do with Kyle's body, whether we should move it, whether we should... She stopped, swallowed hard. The back door exploded inward, just shattered. This man stood there with a gun, wild eyes, screaming, saying Brett had destroyed his life, taken everything. His wife left him, his daughter won't speak to him, he lost his business, and it was all Brett's fault. What she did next will haunt you. Don't miss it. Brett heard the noise, came running downstairs. Owen pointed the gun at him, started screaming that he was going to make Brett watch everyone die first, that Brett needed to feel what he felt. Linda's voice cracked. He pointed the gun at Vanessa's stomach, said he'd start with the baby, make sure Brett knew he'd destroyed his own child's life before it even began. My hands were shaking, fists clenched so tight my nails drew blood from my palms. That's when I saw Brett's hunting rifle. He keeps it by the back door, for the shooting range. I grabbed it. I'd never fired a gun in my life, Tom, never, but I picked it up and I pointed it on and I told him to leave. And? He laughed, said I wouldn't do it, said I looked too soft, too weak. Linda's eyes met mine again. They were cold now, distant. So I proved him wrong. Where did you shoot him? Center mass, just like they say in movies. He went down. We thought maybe he'd survive. We called... She stopped herself. Called who? Torres asked, stepping closer. You said you didn't call police. Linda's face went blank. Nobody. We didn't call anyone. You just said we called. Called who? Subscribe now. The person they called changes everything. Linda's jaw set. I want a lawyer. Torres smiled coldly. Smart move, finally. She turned to Brett and Vanessa. You two, same question. Who did you call after Owen Garrett was shot? They both stayed silent. Fine, we'll do this at the station. Torres waved over 2 uniformed officers. Take all 3 into custody. Separate cars, separate interrogation rooms. Nobody talks to anyone. As the officers moved forward, I saw something flash across Brett's face. Not fear. Relief. Like being arrested was better than the alternative. What alternative could be worse than this? If you're not subscribing, comment below. What would you do in this situation? They loaded Linda into one cruiser, Brett into another, Vanessa into a third. 3 police cars, my entire family, all headed to jail. I stood there on the sidewalk, numb. Claire beside me, crying quietly. Tom, I'm so sorry. If I hadn't called... No, I turned to her. You did the right thing. This is on them. All of them. Detective Torres approached, pulling on latex gloves. Mr. Crawford, I need you to stay available. Don't leave Austin. We'll have more questions. Can I see my wife? Not until after we process her, probably tomorrow at earliest.
She said it was self-defense. Doesn't that matter? Torres looked at me with something almost like pity. Maybe, but she buried the body instead of calling 911. That's consciousness of guilt. That's concealment of a crime. Even if the shooting was justified, everything after wasn't. She was right. I knew she was right. But knowing didn't make it hurt less. Torres headed toward the backyard. Crime scene tape was already going up. Forensic van pulling onto the street. I pulled out my phone, started to call my brother, then stopped. What would I even say? Hey, Linda's been arrested for murder. Brett's a fraudulent criminal. They've got 3 bodies buried in the backyard. How's your Tuesday going? My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Mr. Crawford, this is Detective Paulo Reyes. I need to speak with you immediately. Not about the bodies, about your son's fraud victims. There's something you need to know before Torres finds out. My blood went cold. I texted back, "Who are you?" Response came instantly. Financial Crimes Division. I've been investigating your son for 9 months. And Mr. Crawford, the fraud is bigger than anyone knows. Meet me at the Starbucks on 6th Street in 20 minutes. Come alone. If Torres sees us together, people die. Subscribe because the fraud is just the surface. The real crime is so much worse.
I looked up at the house. Crime scene investigators swarming the backyard, detectives everywhere. Nobody watching me. Claire touched my arm. "Tom, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I need to go," I said. "Can you give me a ride?" "Where?" "Anywhere but here." She nodded, pulled out her keys. As we drove away, I watched the house disappear in the side mirror. The house where my son built a life on stolen money, where 3 people were buried like trash, where my wife became a killer. The house that destroyed everything I thought I knew. 15 minutes later, Claire dropped me at the Starbucks. I told her I'd catch an Uber back to my hotel. Inside, the coffee shop was half empty. Tuesday afternoon lull. A man in his early 40s sat in the back corner. Latino, sharp suit, eyes that tracked every person who walked in. He saw me, nodded once. I approached his table. "Detective Reyes?" "Sit down, Mr. Crawford, and keep your voice low." I sat. My hands were still shaking. "What's going on? Why this secret meeting?" Reyes leaned forward. "Because your son didn't just steal from random people. He was recruited. He's part of a network. And the people running that network don't like loose ends." My stomach dropped. A network? 19 other people, all running fraud operations just like Brett's, all feeding money up to the same source. And that source is very, very dangerous. The person running the operation will shock you. Subscribe now. "Who?" I demanded. "Who's running it?" Reyes pulled out his phone, showed me a photo. My vision went blurry. No, that's impossible. The face on the screen was smiling, young, successful looking. I knew that face. I'd seen it at Christmas dinners, birthday parties, family gatherings. "That's Vanessa's brother," I said slowly. "That's Zach. He's a financial advisor in Phoenix." "His name isn't Zach," said Reyes quietly. "It's Xavier Navarro, and he's been running a criminal enterprise for 6 years. Your son isn't a mastermind, Mr. Crawford. He's a puppet. They targeted him, recruited him, taught him everything. And when victims like Kyle Brennan or Owen Garrett got too close, Navarro had them handled." "Handled how?" "Usually paid off, sometimes threatened, occasionally," Reyes paused, "disappeared." My mouth dried. "Are you saying Vanessa's brother killed Kyle and Owen?" "I'm saying I think Kyle and Owen were dead before they ever arrived at your son's house." The world tilted again. "What?" Reyes pulled up another photo. Kyle Brennan's driver's license photo. Then another photo, Kyle Brennan in a morgue.
Timestamp: 3 days before Linda said he broke into the house. "This is impossible," I whispered. Linda said, "They all said." "They lied, or they believe a lie that was fed to them." Reyes leaned closer. "Mr. Crawford, I think someone planted those bodies in your son's backyard. I think someone is framing your family. And I think that someone is Vanessa." "Why? Why would she frame her own husband?" "Because 6 months ago, Brett tried to quit. He told Vanessa he was done stealing, wanted to go legitimate, return the money he had taken. And when you try to quit Navarro's operation, you become a liability." "So they're setting him up?" "Worse, they're setting up your whole family. Think about it. Linda shows up 3 weeks ago. Suddenly 2 victims appear. Suddenly there's a convenient grave. Suddenly everyone's confessing. It's too neat, too perfect." My brain raced. "But Linda confessed. She said she shot Owen." "Did she? Or did Vanessa convince her she did?" I thought back. Linda's face when she confessed, the way she'd hesitated, the blank look in her eyes, like she was reciting something she'd been told. "What about the third body? The one they found during renovation?" "Doesn't exist. I guarantee when forensics digs up that backyard, they'll find Kyle and Owen, both killed elsewhere, moved there recently, but no third body. That was a lie to make the confession more credible." Subscribe before the final revelation, because everything you think you know is wrong. "Why are you telling me this? Why not tell Detective Torres?" Reyes's face darkened. "Because Torres is 6 months from retirement. She wants a clean, simple case. 3 bodies, 3 confessions, case closed. She's not interested in complicated conspiracy theories about criminal networks." "But you have evidence." "I have theories. I have financial records that suggest connections, but I don't have proof, not the kind that gets warrants against someone like Xavier Navarro." "So what do you need?" Reyes pulled out a small device, looked like a thumb drive. "Vanessa will make bail tonight. Probably already has a lawyer lined up through Navarro. I need you to visit her tomorrow. Tell her you believe her, that you know Brett is the real criminal. Get her to trust you." "And then what?" "Get access to her laptop. Plug this in for 30 seconds. It'll copy everything on her hard drive. I'll do the rest." "That's illegal." "So is murder. So is fraud. So is framing innocent people." Reyes slid the device across the table. "Your choice, Mr. Crawford. Play it safe and watch your family go to prison, or take a risk and maybe save them. The choice he makes next will change everything." And that's when things got real.
The phone slipped from my hand, clattered on the table. "Your wife didn't come to visit. She came to collect. She's been working with me for 2 years. Brett never knew." No, that's impossible. Linda, my Linda, who made lasagna every Sunday, who cried at rom-coms, who still left little notes in my lunch after 26 years. A criminal mastermind? I grabbed the phone, tried calling the number back. Disconnected, of course. My hands shook as I pulled up Linda's contact, stared at her picture. That smile, those eyes I'd trusted for a quarter century. Had I ever really known her at all? Subscribe, because the person you trust most might be your biggest enemy. I needed air, stumbled out of the Starbucks on the 6th Street. Austin's late afternoon crowds pushing past, music spilling from bars, life continuing like the world hadn't just imploded. Think, Tom, think. Reyes said Vanessa was the plant, the inside agent, setting up Brett and Linda. But Zach, Xavier, whoever he was, said Linda was working with him, that she came to Austin to collect. Collect what? Money? Evidence? Bodies? Both stories couldn't be true, unless they were both lying. Unless everyone was lying.
My phone buzzed. Text from Brett's number. Dad, it's me. They're letting me make calls. I need you to listen carefully. Don't trust anyone. Not Vanessa, not Mom, not the cops. Nobody. There's something happening that's bigger than all of us, and I think we're all... The message cut off mid-sentence. I waited. Nothing. Tried calling back, straight to voicemail. What he was about to reveal will destroy you. Don't look away. A black SUV pulled up to the curb beside me. Tinted windows, engine running. The back window rolled down. A woman sat inside, late 50s, expensive suit, cold eyes that evaluated me like a specimen under glass. Tom Crawford? Who's asking? My name is Diane Castellano. I represent the Navarro family. We need to talk about your wife's debt. Ice flooded my veins. I don't know what you're talking about. Get in the car, Mr. Crawford, or I can have this conversation with the police instead. Your choice. I looked up and down the street. People everywhere. Witnesses. But something in her voice said she wasn't bluffing. I got in the car. The door locked automatically behind me. Child safety locks. Diane didn't smile. Your wife owes my clients $2.3 million. She has 72 hours to pay, or consequences begin. 2.3? What? That's insane. We don't have that kind of money. No, but Brett does, or did, before he decided to get a conscience. Diane pulled out a tablet, showed me bank statements, accounts I'd never seen, in Linda's name, transactions going back 18 months, deposits, withdrawals, transfers, millions of dollars moving through accounts my wife controlled. This is fake, I said. Someone manufactured this. The FBI won't think so. Neither will the IRS. Diane leaned forward. Your wife has been laundering money for the Navarro operation for 2 years. She's been our financial officer. She processes everything, cleans everything, and she's very, very good at it. If you're still not subscribing, drop a comment because this gets so much worse. Why would Linda do that? We have a good life. We don't need... Because you were bankrupt, Mr. Crawford. 3 years ago, your business was failing. You were leveraged to your eyeballs. You were going to lose everything. My mouth dried. She was right. 3 years ago, the business nearly collapsed. Bad investments, a lawsuit from a client. We were drowning. But then, Linda got an inheritance, I said slowly, from her aunt. Saved us. Diane smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. There was no inheritance. There was no aunt. There was the Navarro family offering your wife a deal. Work for us, we bail you out. Refuse, we destroy you. She would have told me. Would she? Or would she protect you from the truth because she loves you? Diane tilted her head. That's what love does, Tom. It makes us do terrible things to protect the people we care about. What does the Navarro family want? We want our money. Brett tried to steal from us, tried to go legitimate with funds that weren't his. Linda helped him hide it. We want it back. All of it. Plus interest. And if we can't pay? Diane's smile widened. Then we start taking collateral. Your business, your house, Brett's freedom, Vanessa's baby. And babies are such fragile things. The threat was clear, crystal clear. Why are you telling me this? Why not just... Because killing people is messy and expensive. We prefer cooperation. So here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you're going to visit Vanessa. You're going to tell her you believe her story, that you know Brett's guilty, that you want to help. Exactly what Reyes told me to do. How do you know about Reyes? Diane's expression didn't change. Because Paulo Reyes doesn't exist. He's one of ours. a cleaner. His job is to identify threats and neutralize them. And right now, Tom, you're a threat. We need to know whose side you're on. My brain felt like it was shorting out. Reyes works for you? He works for the Navarros. He's been feeding you misinformation, testing your loyalty, and that little thumb drive he gave you? She held up an identical device. It doesn't copy data. It installs malware that lets us monitor everything Vanessa does. See if she's talking to the real FBI. The real FBI? Oh yes, there's an actual federal investigation. Has been for 6 months, and they're getting close, which is why we're cleaning house, cutting loose anyone who might flip. She let that implication hang. Comment below. Who should Tom trust? Because I have no idea anymore. What do you want from me? I asked. Simple. You have access to Linda, to Brett, to Vanessa, your family. They'll talk to you. We need to know what they've told the police, what they're planning to say, whether any of them have made deals. You want me to spy on my own family? We want you to survive, Tom. Because right now, the only people in more danger than your wife and son are you and that baby Vanessa is carrying. And babies are such fragile things. The threat was clear, crystal clear.
Diane pulled out her phone, showed me a video. It was my house in Charlotte, my neighborhood. The camera zoomed in on my bedroom window. I could see myself inside getting dressed this morning, right before I left for the airport. They'd been watching me. For how long? You can't refuse, Tom. You already said yes the moment you got in this car. The SUV pulled over. We were back at the Starbucks. Go back to your hotel, Diane said. Tomorrow, visit Vanessa. Use that thumb drive Reyes gave you. Report back to him everything she says. Be a good little spy for both sides. And maybe, your family survives this. The door unlocked. I got out on shaking legs. The SUV drove away, disappearing into Austin traffic like it had never existed. Subscribe. The next person to contact him will blow your mind. I stood there for 5 minutes, maybe 10, lost in the chaos of my own thoughts. Linda was either a victim or a criminal. Vanessa was either innocent or an operative. Reyes was either FBI or Navarro's cleaner. Brett was either a dupe or a mastermind. And me? I was a construction worker from Charlotte who'd stumbled into something so far over my head I couldn't even see the surface anymore. My phone rang. Unknown number, again. I almost didn't answer, but what did I have to lose at this point? Hello? Tom. A woman's voice. Familiar, but I couldn't place it. Don't say my name out loud. Just listen. Who is this? It's Vanessa. I'm calling from a burner phone. I made bail an hour ago. And Tom, everything I said to the police was a lie. Everything. Brett isn't a fraud. I am. My knees buckled. I leaned against a wall for support. What? My real name is Vanessa Navarro. Javier is my brother. That part was true. But I'm not a victim. I'm the recruiter. I targeted Brett 6 years ago, made him fall in love with me, married him, turned him into a criminal. Everything he thinks he did, I did. I set up the accounts. I stole the money. I blamed him for all of it. What she says next will haunt you forever. Keep watching. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm pregnant with your grandchild, Tom. And I don't want my baby raised in this life. I don't want my kid growing up like I did, taught to lie, taught to steal, taught that family is just another tool to use. Her voice cracked, real emotion breaking through. I'm trying to get out. I contacted the real FBI 3 weeks ago. I've been wearing a wire, recording everything. My brother, Diane Castellano, the whole operation. I have enough to take them all down, but I need time. Why didn't you tell Brett? Because Brett can't lie to save his life. If he knew, they'd see it on his face. So I had to make him think he was guilty, had to make him confess to crimes he didn't commit, to protect him. My head was spinning. And Linda? Silence on the other end. Vanessa? What about my wife? Linda's not who you think she is, Tom. But she's not who they think she is either. Then, who is she? She's FBI. Deep undercover. Has been for 3 years. She married you as her cover. Built a whole life as Tom Crawford's wife. And Tom, Vanessa's voice dropped to barely a whisper. I'm so sorry. But your marriage isn't real. It never was. The world stopped spinning. Just stopped. Everything silent. Everything still. Subscribe if you want to know the truth, because it's about to get so much darker. That's not true, I heard myself say. We've been married 26 years. We have a son. We have a life. Check your marriage certificate. Really look at it. Check the date. I'll wait. With shaking hands, I pulled up the photo I kept on my phone. Our marriage certificate, framed in our bedroom. The date, September 14th, 2021. Not 1999. 4 years ago. That's impossible, I whispered. I remember our wedding. I remember 26 years. I remember... Memories can be manufactured, Tom, especially when someone's drugged you consistently over time. Linda's not just FBI. She's part of their psychological operations unit. She specializes in building false relationships, false histories. She did it to infiltrate the Navarros, and you were her cover story. No, Brett, our son. He's 24 years old. Brett is her actual son from her first marriage. He's real. But Tom, you're not his father. You never were. She integrated you into their history, made you believe you'd been there all along. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Check your old photos. Really look at them. You won't find any from before 2021. They're all staged, all created. You were a widower, Tom. Your real wife died in 2020. You were vulnerable, grieving. Linda targeted you, made you fall in love, built a false reality, and you've been living in it ever since. Comment. Would you want to know if your whole life was a lie? Because his is about to shatter. My phone nearly slipped from my hand. I pulled up my photo gallery, scrolled back. Wedding photos, tons of them. Vacations, anniversaries, Christmas mornings. But Vanessa was right. Nothing before 2021. How did I never notice this? Why? I choked out. Why would she do this to me? Because the Navarros are careful. They vet everyone. They'd spotted a plant immediately. But a wife, established marriage, kids, grandkids on the way? That's the perfect cover. Linda needed you to be real, to believe it, so that when they investigated, they'd find exactly what she wanted them to find. And now? Now the operation is falling apart. The FBI is moving in, and Linda has to choose. Finish the mission and arrest everyone, or protect you from the truth that will destroy you. A new voice cut in, male, harsh. Time's up, Vanessa. Tom, I have to go. Tomorrow, when you visit me, play along. Pretend you believe I'm the bad guy, but give me a sign. Touch your left ear twice. Then I'll know you know, and we can figure out... The line went dead. I stood there on 6th Street. People walking past. Music playing. Life happening. While mine disintegrated.
My phone buzzed. Text from Linda's number. Tom, it's me. They're letting me out on bail. I'll be at the hotel in an hour. We need to talk. About everything. About us.
about the truth I should have told you 4 years ago. I'm so sorry. For all of it. But especially for making you love someone who never really existed. I looked at the message, then at the thumb drive in my pocket, then at the street. 3 blocks away, I saw a police station. I could walk in, tell them everything. Every conversation, every threat, every revelation. Let them sort it out. Or I could play the game. Choose a side. Hope I picked right. But which side was right? Reyes said trust him, but Diane said Reyes worked for the Navarros. Diane said Linda was a criminal, but Vanessa said Linda was FBI. Vanessa said she was trying to escape, but she'd also admitted to being a recruiter, a manipulator. Brett was in jail, Linda was being released, Vanessa made bail. And somewhere in Austin, bodies were being dug up from a backyard. Bodies that might have been planted, or might have been real. I didn't know anymore. Didn't know anything. Except one thing. One absolute truth that cut through all the lies. Someone was going to die. Maybe me. Maybe my family. Maybe all of us. But someone was going to die before this ended. And I had to decide who. My phone rang again. This time I recognized the number. My brother back in Charlotte. Ray? Tom, thank God. Listen, 2 men showed up at your house an hour ago. Said they were from your insurance company, but Tom, they weren't. They broke in, tore the place apart. I called the cops, but they were gone before police arrived. What the hell is going on? They'd searched my house. Looking for what? Ray, I need you to do something for me. Go to the garage, behind the water heater. There's a metal box. Combination is Linda's birthday. Open it. Okay, hold on. I heard him moving. Footsteps. Metal scraping. Got it. What's the combination? September 14th. The date on the marriage certificate. That opens... Tom, there's cash in here. A lot of cash. And a gun. And... Jesus Christ! There's a passport. But it's not Linda's picture. It's someone else's. Same name, though. What's the birth date on the passport? 1978. Read me the full name. Linda Marie Castellano. The world went white. Castellano. Like Diane Castellano. Like the Navarro family lawyer. Family. Everyone in this nightmare was family. The Navarros, the Castellanos, all connected, all working together. And I'd married into it without knowing. Or had I? Had I really been that blind? That stupid? Or had I chosen not to see? Because seeing meant losing everything. My phone buzzed. Final message. Number blocked. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2847 Pinewood Drive. Everyone will be there. FBI, Navarros, your family, and the truth. Bring the thumb drive. Bring your questions. Bring your courage. Because Tom Crawford, tomorrow you find out who you really are and who you've always been. The answer might surprise you. I stared at the message until the screen went dark. Then I did the only thing I could do. I started walking. No destination, no plan. just walking. Because tomorrow at 10 a.m., everything would end, one way or another. And I needed these last few hours to be Tom Crawford, the man who loved his wife, the man who raised his son, the man who believed in his family, even if that man had never really existed at all. Subscribe now. The next chapter reveals everything, and I mean everything. Who is Tom Crawford? Really? Because even he doesn't know anymore. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Linda's face, heard Vanessa's voice, felt Diane's threat. Your whole life is a lie. 4 years, not 26. False memories, manufactured history, a wife who never existed. At 3 a.m., I sat in my hotel room staring at my wedding ring, gold band, worn smooth from years of wear. Except it hadn't been years. It had been 4. I pulled up my phone, searched my cloud storage, looked for proof. Photos from 2019, me and my real wife, Catherine. Her smile, her laugh, the way she'd touch my face when she thought I wasn't looking. She died in 2020. Cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. I remembered being destroyed, remembered the grief like a physical weight crushing my chest. And then what? The memories got fuzzy, blurred at the edges. I remembered meeting Linda, remembered falling in love fast, too fast. But I also remembered 26 years of marriage, Brett's childhood, teaching him to drive, his high school graduation. 2 sets of memories, both felt real. Which ones were true? Subscribe, because the truth is darker than anything you can imagine. At 5 a.m., my phone rang. Linda. I stared at her name on the screen, let it ring 4 times before answering. Tom. Her voice was soft, broken. Can we talk face to face, please? Where are you? Downstairs, hotel lobby. I've been here since midnight, waiting to see if you'd call. I hung up. 30 seconds later, I was in the elevator heading down. She sat in a corner chair, wearing the same clothes from yesterday, hair unwashed, eyes red and swollen. She looked up when she saw me, started to stand. Don't, I said. Just stay there. She sat back down. I took the chair across from her. 3 feet of distance that felt like miles. Is any of it real? I asked. Any of it at all? Linda's eyes filled with tears. Yes. God, Tom, yes. My feelings for you are real. Everything I feel is real. But we haven't been married 26 years. She flinched like I'd hit her. No. And Brett isn't my son. No. And those memories I have are wedding his childhood all those years. They're fake. Implanted somehow. Linda nodded slowly. A combination of drugs and suggestion therapy. Over the course of 6 months after we met. You were grieving, vulnerable. Your mind was looking for something to hold on to. We gave you new memories. Better ones. Happier ones. If you're still not subscribing, comment why, because this is about to get insane. We, I said. Who's we? The agency. The people I work for. FBI? Linda laughed. It was bitter, hollow. That's what I told Vanessa to tell you, to see what you do with the information. No, Tom, I don't work for the FBI. Then who? She met my eyes. I work for the Castellano family. I always have. Diane is my mother.
There it was. The final truth. The last lie stripped away. "You're one of them?" I whispered. "I was born into it, raised in it. It's all I've ever known. But Tom, meeting you changed something. Being with you, even if it started as a cover, it became real. You became real to me. How convenient. It's the truth. You don't get to tell me what truth is." My voice rose, heads turned in the lobby. I forced myself to lower it. "You built a fake life, fake history. You made me believe I'd lived a quarter century with you. You violated my mind, my memories, everything I thought I was." Linda's face crumpled. "I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life hating myself for it. But Tom, right now, none of that matters, because at 10 a.m. this morning, everyone converges on that house, and if you're not on the right side, you die. Subscribe now. You won't believe what happens at that house." What's happening at 10 a.m.? The exchange. The Navarros want their money back. $2.3 million that Brett supposedly stole. The FBI, the real FBI, they're closing in, planning a raid. And my family, the Castellanos, we're caught in the middle trying to broker peace before everyone kills each other. And the bodies in the backyard? Linda's expression went dark. That's the real problem. Because those aren't fraud victims. Those are FBI agents. The air left my lungs. What? 2 undercover agents who got too close. Kyle Brennan and Owen Garrett weren't victims. They were federal agents investigating the Navarros. And someone in the organization found out. Someone killed them. Someone buried them in Brett's backyard to frame him, to give the FBI a murder case instead of a fraud case. Who? I don't know. That's what I've been trying to figure out for 3 weeks. But whoever it is, they're tying up loose ends. And Tom, we're all loose ends now. My hands were shaking again. Why are you telling me this? Because I need you to choose. Choose me. Choose our family, even if it's built on lies. Help me get us all alive, or walk away. Turn us in. Let the chips fall, but either way you need to decide in the next 4 hours. Comment. What would you do? Walk away or stay? I looked at this woman, this stranger, this person I'd loved with everything I had for what I thought was 26 years, but was really only 4. Who am I? I asked quietly. Really, who is Tom Crawford? Linda reached across the space between us, touched my hand. I didn't pull away. You're exactly who you've always been. A good man, a loyal man, a man who loves his family. That hasn't changed, Tom. That was never fake. But which family? My real one? The one I can barely remember? Or this manufactured one? The one you choose. That's what makes it real. A movement caught my eye. Across the lobby. Man in a dark suit. Watching us. Linda saw him too. Her face went pale. That's one of Javier's people. They've been following me since I made bail. She stood quickly. Tom, meet me at the house at 9:45 a.m.
15 minutes before it all goes down, come through the back. I'll leave the gate unlocked. Please, I need you to see something before you decide. She walked away fast. The man in the suit followed. I sat there alone. The clock on the wall read 5:47 a.m. 4 hours until the end. Subscribe. What Tom finds at that house will change everything. At 9:30 a.m., I took an Uber to Pinewood Drive. The street was quiet, deceptively normal. Kids' bikes in driveways, SUVs in garages, American flags. Nobody knew what was about to happen. I had the thumb drive in my pocket, the one Reyes gave me, or the one Diane's people gave me through Reyes. Didn't matter anymore. I wasn't using it. I approached the house from the back, like Linda said, gate unlocked. The backyard was a disaster. Crime scene tape everywhere. 2 rectangular holes where they'd excavated the bodies, dirt piled high. Linda stood near the back fence, alone. "You came," she said softly. "Show me, whatever you wanted me to see." She walked to the larger excavation hole, pointed down. "Look at the dirt. Really look." I did. Saw nothing unusual. Just dirt. Clay. Rocks. I don't understand. The soil composition is wrong. This dirt isn't from Austin. It's from further south, near the Mexico border. Someone brought it here, staged this entire scene. How do you know? Because I helped dig the real graves 2 years ago in New Mexico. That's where Kyle Brennan and Owen Garrett actually died. That's where they were buried, until someone dug them up and moved them here. What she reveals next will blow your mind. Keep watching. My stomach turned. You killed them? No, but I was there when it happened. I was supposed to be building trust with them, getting intel. Instead, Xavier found out they were agents. He executed them, made me help bury them to prove my loyalty. And you did? What choice did I have? Say no and die beside them? Linda's voice cracked. I've done terrible things, Tom. Things I can never take back. But this, framing Brett, framing you, framing our family? I didn't do this. Someone else is making moves, someone with access to bodies, someone who knew where they were buried. Who? I think it's Vanessa. Right on cue, a voice came from behind us. You always were perceptive, Linda, just not perceptive enough. We turned. Vanessa stood at the back door, but she wasn't alone. Brett was beside her, gun in his hand, pointed at us. Brett, my voice cracked. What are you doing? What I should have done 3 years ago, he said. His voice was cold, empty. Taking control of my own life. Linda stepped in front of me, protective. Brett, put the gun down. Whatever Vanessa told you, it's a lie. Like how you told Dad his whole life was a lie? Yeah, I know about that. I've always known. You think I didn't figure it out? You think I didn't see how convenient it was that you showed up right after his wife died? How quickly he fell in love? How the memories he talked about never quite matched the photos? Subscribe if your heart is racing because mine is. Brett, I can explain. I don't want explanations. I want justice. For Dad, for me, for everyone you've manipulated. Vanessa smiled, put her hand on Brett's shoulder. Tell them, baby. Tell them what we figured out. Brett's jaw clenched. There is no Navarro operation. There never was. It's all Castellano. Javier Navarro doesn't exist. He's just another identity, another cover. Diane Castellano runs everything. And Linda, my mother, she's the enforcer, the killer, the one who's been eliminating threats for 20 years. That's not true, Linda said, but her voice wavered. Those FBI agents in those graves, you killed them, not Xavier, you. And you were going to frame me for it? Frame Dad? Get us both locked up while you walked away clean? No, Brett, I would never... Then explain this. Vanessa held up a phone, played a video. The footage was grainy, night vision, but clear enough. It showed Linda, in New Mexico, 2 years ago, standing over 2 bodies, gun in her hand, killing them, executing them. The video ended. I couldn't breathe. Tom, Linda turned to me, tears streaming. That video is edited, manufactured. I was there, but I didn't... Stop lying, Brett shouted. For once in your life, stop lying. Comment below, is Linda guilty? Because I honestly don't know anymore. A new voice cut through the tension.
Actually, Brett's right about one thing. Linda is a killer. We all turned. Detective Torres stood at the back gate, gun drawn, badge displayed. But she wasn't alone. 6 FBI agents in tactical gear, weapons raised, surrounding the yard. Linda Castellano, you're arrested for the murders of Special Agents Kyle Brennan and Owen Garrett, and for racketeering, money laundering, and approximately 47 other charges we've been building for 3 years. Linda raised her hands. Slow, careful. Tom, she said quietly, not looking at Torres, looking at me. I need you to know, everything I did to protect you, to protect Brett, even the terrible things. Especially the terrible things. Hands behind your back, Torres commanded. Linda complied. As Torres moved to cuff her, Linda spoke again, louder now. But I wasn't the one who moved those bodies here. I wasn't the one who framed my own son, and I wasn't the one who's been playing both sides against each other for 6 months. Who then? Torres asked. Linda smiled. It was terrifying. Ask Tom. Ask him why he showed up in Austin yesterday. Ask him who really sent him. Ask him why a construction worker from Charlotte, North Carolina has a thumb drive full of government-grade surveillance malware in his pocket. Every head turned to me. I felt the weight of the device in my pocket, suddenly burning hot. Tom! Brett's voice was small, confused. What you talking about? Subscribe now, because Tom's secret is about to destroy everything.
My mouth was dry. I don't know what she means. Reyes gave me that drive. He said it would help prove— There is no Reyes, Torres said flatly. We've been monitoring this operation for months. There's no detective by that name in Austin, or anywhere in Texas. The ground felt like it was crumbling beneath my feet. But I met him, talked to him. He showed me evidence. Deepfakes, actors, CGI. Whatever you saw, it wasn't real. Torres turned to Linda. But she's right about one thing. That thumb drive you're carrying is flagged in our system. It was reported stolen from a federal facility 3 months ago. So tell me, Tom Crawford, how does a civilian contractor from Charlotte end up with classified government property? I couldn't speak. Couldn't think. Oh God, Brett whispered. Dad, what did you do? Nothing. I didn't do anything. I was trying to help. Help who? Torres pressed. The Castellanos? The Navarros? The FBI? Who exactly have you been working for? Nobody. I'm just a contractor. I build houses. I don't— And then it hit me. The conversation with Diane in the car, the break-in at my house in Charlotte, the metal box behind the water heater. Ray, I said aloud. Oh God, Ray. I pulled out my phone, called my brother. It rang once. Then a voice I didn't recognize answered. Tom Crawford, we've been waiting for your call. Who is this? Where's my brother? Your brother is fine. He's right here. Would you like to speak to him? Muffled sounds. Then Ray's voice, terrified. Tom, I'm sorry. They came back. They have Kelly and the kids. They said if I didn't— The line went dead. What happens next will leave you speechless. My hand shook so badly I almost dropped the phone. They have my family, I said to no one in particular. My real family. My brother, his wife, their kids. Torres's expression shifted. Who has them? I don't know. Everyone's been lying. Everyone's been playing games. I don't know who anyone is anymore. That's when my phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. A photo. Ray, Kelly, and their 2 kids tied to chairs in my garage back in Charlotte. Gun pointed at Ray's head. Below the photo. Plug in the thumb drive. Upload the data to Vanessa's laptop. Do it now or they die. You have 60 seconds. I looked up at Vanessa. She held a laptop. Open. Waiting. Tom, no, Linda said. Whatever's on that drive, it's not worth— They have my brother's kids. They have children. What am I supposed to do? Brett lowered his gun slightly. Looked at Vanessa. Did you know about this? No, Vanessa said, but her eyes said different. I swear. You're lying, Brett. You've been lying this whole time. Vanessa's mask slipped. Just for a second, but I saw it. The calculation, the cold assessment. She wasn't a victim, wasn't a plant, wasn't anything she'd claimed. She was the player, the one moving all the pieces. Subscribe. You need to see how this ends. Tom, Torres said carefully, do not plug in that device. Whatever's happening in Charlotte, we can handle it. But if you upload that malware... My phone buzzed again. Another photo. Closer on the kids' faces. Tears streaming. Text. 30 seconds. I looked at Linda. At Brett. At Torres. At Vanessa's smiling face. I'm sorry, I whispered, and I pulled out the thumb drive, moved toward the laptop. Tom, no! Torres shouted. Brett raised his gun, pointed it at me now. Dad, don't. Whatever happens, we can fix it. But not if you... They're kids, Brett. They're innocent kids. So is my baby, Vanessa said softly, put her hand on her stomach. So is our child. And if that data uploads, the Castellanos get access to every federal database, every witness, every agent, everyone who's ever crossed them, and they'll kill them all, including me, including our baby. I froze, thumb drive inches from the USB port. You lied about being pregnant, I said. Vanessa's smile widened. Did I? She pulled up her shirt. No baby bump, just a wire, taped to her skin, recording everything. I've been working with the FBI for 8 months. Everything I told you was designed to draw out the real players. And congratulations, Tom. You just revealed yourself. The world spun. What? Torres stepped forward, but not to arrest Linda, to arrest me. Tom Crawford, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit espionage, for possession of classified materials, for working with a foreign intelligence service to compromise U.S. national security. No, I didn't. I'm not. Tom Crawford doesn't exist, a new voice said. Diane Castellano stepped into the backyard. No gun, no guards, just her. He died 4 years ago, the same car accident that killed Catherine. But we needed a cover identity, someone to watch Linda, make sure she stayed loyal. So we rebuilt Tom Crawford. New memories, new history, same body, different mind. I felt like I was falling. That's not possible. It's very possible. With the right drugs, the right conditioning. We've been doing it for decades. Diane looked at Linda. My daughter's been trying to get out for years. We couldn't let that happen. So we gave her you. A husband who didn't exist. A life that was fiction. And we've been watching her through your eyes ever since. Linda's face was ash white. Tom, I didn't know. I swear I didn't. She knew. She's always known. She chose this, chose you, chose the lie, because it was easier to face what she really is. Subscribe, because the final twist is insane.
Torres moved toward Diane. Mrs. Castellano, you're also under arrest. No, Diane said simply. I'm not. She pulled a small device from her pocket, pressed a button. Every phone in the yard buzzed simultaneously. Mine, Linda's, Brett's, Vanessa's, Torres's, all the FBI agents. The same message. Charges dropped. Operation terminated. All agents returned to base. Torres looked at her phone, face going pale. What the hell? I have friends in very high places, Diane said. This operation is over. The FBI will stand down. The Castellanos will continue operating, and everyone here will go home. Like hell, Torres said, but her voice wavered. Her phone rang. She answered, listened. Her face fell. Yes, sir. Understood. Yes, sir. She hung up, looked at Diane with pure hatred. You're untouchable. I prefer well-connected, but yes. Diane turned to me. Tom, or whoever you are now, you have a choice. Come work for us, use whatever skills you have, or we make you disappear, properly this time. And if I refuse, then you wake up tomorrow in a different city with a different name and different memories,
and we start this all over again with someone else. I looked at Linda, at Brett, my fake wife, my fake son, my fake life. What about them? I asked. They're family. Family stays. Diane smiled. But you, Tom, or whoever you are always just a tool, and broken tools get replaced. Final twist coming. Don't you dare look away. I stood there, thumb drive still in my hand, everyone watching me, and I made my choice. I plugged in the device, but not into Vanessa's laptop, into my phone, and I uploaded everything, every conversation, every lie, every revelation, straight to every news outlet, every social media platform, every contact in my phone. What are you doing? Diane's voice was sharp. I'm burning it down, all of it. If I don't get to be real, then nobody does. The uploads completed, thousands of files, videos, audio recordings, everything my phone had captured over the past 24 hours. Within seconds, notifications started flooding in, news alerts, share notifications, viral spread. The story was out. The Castellanos, the Navarros, the fake FBI agents, the real FBI cover-up. All of it. Public, permanent, irreversible. Diane's face went from confident to terrified in seconds. You just killed yourself, she whispered. Maybe, I said, but at least I'll die as someone real. Torres grabbed her radio. I need backup at 2847 Pinewood Drive, multiple suspects in custody, and get me a supervisor, now. The FBI agents moved in, surrounding Diane, Linda, Brett, even Vanessa, but not me. Torres looked at me, really looked at me. Who are you? She asked. I don't know, I said honestly, but I'm going to find out. 6 months later. I sat in a small apartment in Denver. New city, new start. The Castellano organization collapsed within weeks. Diane and Linda both got life sentences. Xavier Navarro, whoever he really was, disappeared, probably dead. Brett took a plea deal, 5 years. He'd be out in 3. Vanessa testified against everyone. Witness protection, gone. And me? DNA tests confirmed I was Tom Crawford, the original. I'd been in a coma for 2 weeks after the accident, not dead like Diane claimed. But the Tom Crawford who woke up, he was different, changed in ways I'm still discovering. The memories of 26 years with Linda, still there, still feel real. But I know they're not. I'm learning to separate truth from fiction, real from manufactured. Some days are good. Some days I can't remember which life was real. But I'm trying to be whoever Tom Crawford is supposed to be, whoever that is. Subscribe, because sometimes the only way to win is to destroy the game entirely. Final question, was Tom's revenge worth it? Comment your answer below, because I still don't know if he won or lost.